Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay, just a minute. Can you see my screen now? Now? Okay. So here we have started a new batch, web development batch, and we have reached to the day 4. And in the day 4 we have learned what you can say HTML and your question. So I can add your question over here or call out, and here we can say why HTML. What's your question? Why HTML is opened in browser, correct? So technical answer is that it's not like that. HTML is not open in browser only. There are other softwares as well, right? But if you want to see what is in the HTML, now I will show you something. So this is the VS Code we have. This is the VS Code we have. File, open folder, desktop, this batch. Now see this HTML, right now you didn't open it in the browser. Can you see? You have opened this HTML, you have opened in the VS Code. So at this time, you have opened this HTML in the VS Code. How it is looking? It is showing you some random text. Getting my point? It is showing some random text. Simple.html, you didn't open it in the browser right now. You have opened this in, you can say, a text editor. It is showing, look, it is showing like this. Now, very important aspect about HTML is that rendering. Now, what do you mean by rendering? So this is the H1. So H1 should be rendered. Let me open this in the browser first. Okay, so you have written H1, no problem. You have written H1, but see, H1 is rendered in this form, which means that, so what to do with the H1, what to do with the paragraph, what to do with the H1, what to do with the paragraph is written inside browser. Browser knows that thing. Browser knows that thing. How to show the H1? How to show H1? You getting my point? Now, and the VS Code doesn't know how to show H1. Agree or not? I would like to show you something. Just a minute. Okay, let's just a minute. I'm opening one image for you. So here, if you see, this is the architecture of the browser. User interface, browser engine, and rendering engine. Can you see that? A rendering engine. So when you talk about rendering engine, this guy is responsible for showing you the data, and there is something called as HTML parser. There is something called as what? HTML parser. And that HTML parser parses this h1 tag, parses this p tag, and renders it on a screen. Getting my point? Renders it on a screen. Hello? So browser knows what to do with the h1 tag. Browser knows what to do with the p tag, which means that browser exactly knows how to render the h1 tag, how to render the p tag. And that's why whenever you open this HTML into normal text pad, if you open this HTML into the text pad, it is looking like this, because VS Code doesn't know what to do with the H1. VS Code doesn't know what to do with the P, what to do with the body. Getting my point? But browser is having some software internally, and that software searches for h1 tag and shows it in the bigger and the bold. It searches for the p tag and show it as a paragraph. And that is nothing but what? The parser. There are multiple things available actually. So browser engine is there, a rendering engine parses and renders HTMLs and the CSS. Remember that it parses and renders HTMLs and the CSS. Hello? You got it? What I mean to say? Yeah. So answer to your question, I will add it into the notes itself. So this was your question. Is it satisfied? Your question is satisfied or not? Yeah. So here if you can see, HTML documents open in the browser because browser are software application designed to interpret an HTML code into the visual web pages with user can interact. When you enter the URL and click on a link, your browser sends a request to the web server asking for the HTML document associated with the page URL. That's what yesterday we have seen. And server responds back with the HTML code. And that HTML code, browser knows how to represent that HTML code. Correct? Hello? Is it clear or not? Okay. So this is your question. We can add question emoji also so that we will get to know. Yeah. This one. Fine. Okay. So this, let's shift somewhere here. Or here, no problem. And one more thing, it's not like that HTML is only open in the browser. There are other softwares also which are used to parse and interpret the HTML. Okay. Now, let's move ahead with HTML5. So yesterday we have seen what is hypertext markup language. Today we will see what do you mean by 5. This 5. 5 is nothing but what? The fifth iteration of hypertext markup language. Now what is fifth iteration? Right? Some features of HTML5 are these things: semantic tags, new semantic tags, multimedia support, canvas, form enhancements, web storage, geolocation, workers, and responsive web design. So in the earlier HTML, there was few basic tags. There were few basic tags. And in HTML5, what happened? They have added few more tags, right? They have added few more tags. So I can show you the raw document also. I can show you one raw document also of the HTML5. Yeah, so if you open this, this is the specification. So all the developers came together and they decided, this is the raw official draft, and they decided to add new features to the HTML5, right? Can you see semantic elements? And semantic elements are these. Elements, attributes values in HTML are defined by this specification to have certain meanings. That is nothing but the semantics. So what I'm saying is that, so let's add a link to this page also. Official specification. If you want to read it in detail, you can see this thing. So here we can say call out, and we can say you can check, official specification here, and to the here let's give a link of this. Okay, specification draft, a draft of you can check official draft of specification here. Hello? And that draft is nothing but this one. So whatever we are discussing, I have created a shorter version of HTML5 specifications, but if you want to read in detail, you may visit this link. Okay, over here. New semantic tags. Now what do you mean by semantic tags? We will see. So let's go to our code, and here I can say new folder, day 05, and here we can say semantic.html, and see here I will select the HTML. So I'm going to delete few things, and we will discuss those things a little bit later on. And title. So doc type HTML. Doc type HTML. Doc type HTML. So when you say doc type HTML, so I would like to show you one thing. Just search over here. Control F, doc. Yeah, see here the HTML syntax. Can you see the doc type? So in the HTML5, remember that doc type is required preamble. Note that doc types are required for the legacy reason. When omitted, if you don't write the doc type, browser tend to use a different rendering mode that is incompatible with some specification. So remember that. So today you will get to know a first doc type or first HTML5 specification that we are using. So this is the first HTML5 specification which says that every HTML5 document should begin with this line. I'm saying HTML5 document, right? Not all HTML4 and other thing. Nowadays, no one uses HTML4 and other things. Everyone uses the HTML5. But remember that every HTML5 document should have this as a first line. Every HTML5 document should have this as a first line. HTML5 document. Okay, so first HTML5 feature. So how this is different? So you should have a first thing as a doc type. Now semantic tags. What do you mean by semantic tags now? Now see, main. I will add a few things over here. Main. Or we can say header, 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 then main, or inside the header, header, then navbar, nav. Okay, then here we can have section, or here we can have a main, then we can have footer at the bottom, and inside the main there can be sections, there can be articles. Now see, so here we can say this is nav, so you can say this is section, some article, and this is footer, right? Some article and this is what? Footer. So this is, you can say, semantic tags. Semantic tags. Now in the earlier HTML way, in the earlier HTML, okay, so the tags, now if you see this thing, you will clearly understand, okay, this is a part of header, this is a part of main content, right? I will go over here, and if I need to draw something like this, if I need to draw something like this, if I need to draw something like this, now if I ask you, so this is your HTML page, and what I wanted to do, there should be a navigation bar in the header, and there should be a left menu, so whole this would be a content, you can say. There should be a left menu, there should be some content over here, right? There should be some content over here, and there should be some footer to your web page. Getting my point? So this is, you can say, header, this is header, then we can say this, we can say this is footer, this is footer, right? Then we can say this is left menu, right? And this is left menu, and this is some content over here. So this is the architecture I want to build. This architecture I wanted to build. Now, if you look at our code, so header, so this much portion is nothing but what? This guy, this is yellow one, correct? Now main means what? Whole this section where left menu and this content has been stored. So here we can do something like this. Here we can do something like this. This is one section again. Or here we can say this is the left menu. I can say this is left menu, and here we can say content, menu content. A normal website, right? And this is the footer. So this tag, header, and inside that nav, so the yellow one would be header, and inside that we can have some services, about, contact, other things, right? Services, about, contact, other things are there. So that is a nav, correct? And the section we have written, so whole and soul, this is a main. Whole and soul, this is a main. Inside main there is a left menu, and there is a article. Article content is nothing but what? This article. Now this can be rewritten in the old way, old.html, or say no semantic.html. So same thing, I will just copy everything and paste it over here. Sorry, I will copy everything and paste it over here. And see, in the earlier case, it was a div only. Everywhere you would be having div is one of the HTML element. Div, here you can say div. Here also we can have div. Here also div. Div means page division. Div means what? Division. Now here I will open this in this form. Now can you see which one is more understanding? This one or this one? Semantics, right? Because everything for so this nav is also div actually. For defining everything, for defining anything, you have used only one tag, that is nothing but what? Div. In the no semantic way, for defining every section of your page or every content of your page, you have used only one tag, that is nothing but div. But here in this case, HTML5 says that, boss, don't do in this way. Don't do in this way. This is a bad idea. And to avoid this, HTML5 says that you will be having particular tags which defines a meaning of that area on the web page, which define meaning of some area on the web page. And that thing is nothing but what? The semantic tags are. Do you understand this? So this is the old way, this is a HTML5 way. Okay. So HTML5 introduced several HTML5 introduced several semantic tags, right? Several semantic tags like this: HTML5, nav, main, article. So we can add it in a code like format. Right, these elements provide the better structure and meaning to the content and making it easier for the search engines, screen readers, and the developers to understand the purpose of the section. Right, here you cannot understand what is the purpose of this, but here you clearly get the idea. Oh, this is the header. That is what the semantic tags. Okay, now remaining elements we will see time to time. Okay, so here are our semantic tags. I'm going to explain all of these, but time to time, not right now. Now I'll push this much code. Just go through the code and ask me the queries if you have any. So here you can say HTML5 semantic tags. We studied the semantic tags, and now we'll try something more. I have pushed the code. Please go through it in 2 minutes. Yeah. Hello. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. While typing, can you share this? Now, what we need to do, what we need to do now, we need to you can look at my screen. What we need to do, we need to create a simple kind of calculator kind of thing. Just a minute, I'm sharing it again. Can you see my screen now? Okay. Okay. Now what we need to do, we need to develop something, some kind of calculator kind of stuff. And for that, so this is our HTML page. This would be our HTML page. And into this HTML page, we need to have one heading over here, say, welcome to the calculator, like that. Or some heading over here, welcome to calculator. Then we need to have one text box. Then another text box for entering the numbers. Okay. Then one text box for showing the result. And a button. 4 buttons. You can say add, subtract, multiply, and division. So this is a header, 3 text boxes and 4 buttons. We need to develop something like this. Getting my point? We need to develop something like this. So let's try to do that thing. In the day 5, we can say simple calc, calc.html. Simple calc.html. Now see, now can you see, I just type HT and IntelliSense, and see, I'm selecting the second one. Can you see? I'm selecting what? Second one, second option, which is give me some predefined structure over here. Hit the enter. Okay. So for now I am deleting this thing. Well, there is a meaning to these two lines. We will see shortly. And here we can say simple calculator. Simple calculator. So for first what we need, so let's try to use semantic tags header. We can say into the header we can say h1 simple calculator. Simple calculator. Okay, this is the header. Inside the header we have written this. In the main, this is the main content we would be having. There would be one section. Into that section we can have input type text. Can you see how many input types are there? Input type, you just need to select it from here. Input type, input colon number, input type colon number. Can you see? It is giving you some name, some ID. I am deleting this also. One more section we can have over here. Input type number once again. One more section we can have over here. And into that section, we need to have 4 buttons. Now see, input type button. Value means what exactly you need to show. We can say add. Then here we can say subtract. Then here we can say multiply and division, div. Okay, add, subtract, this and this thing. Presently we don't have any footer, so we will not write it. So open with, first let's open it in the desktop, and I am copying this link and pasting it over here. Can you see simple calculator? Simple calculator, 2 text boxes. Here you can add the number, but you cannot add the text ABC, something like that. Add the number and add sub mul div. Can you see that? Add, subtract, multiplication, division. Now, can you see? This is looking like empty in the beginning. We don't understand what is happening over here. There are 2 options. Either you can give a label. There is one HTML element called as label, and here we can say number 1. Similarly, here we can say number 2, number 1, number 2. Can you see number 1? This is number 1. This is number 2. Right? And we can add number 1 and number 2. Also, there is one more property to the input type, which is nothing but placeholder, a little grayish color text which will tell you what is this text box all about. What is this text box all about? See now, this is a normal HTML tag. This is a normal HTML tag, right? I wanted to show you few HTML tags. So placeholder we can say number 1, and here also we can add a placeholder as number 2, number 1, number 2. Okay, can you see a faint gray color text? So as you start typing, it will disappear, right? That is nothing but what? The placeholder. Placeholder. So this is header is you can say this header is, what I mean to say is HTML5 element. This header is HTML5 element, right? HTML5 semantic tag. H1 is a normal HTML tag. Header is a semantic tag. Header is a semantic tag. H1 is what you can say normal HTML tag. Main is a semantic tag. Section is a semantic tag. Label and inputs are normal HTML. They are available there every single time. Correct? So when you talk about these things, when you talk about HTML, you can imagine something like this. I'm pushing this much code, and here we can say simple HTML5 ML5 practice simple calculator. Simple calculator. Well, I have pushed the code. You may do it little bit later on. But here if you see input type number, input type number. See here at the place of the number, you cannot write anything like my name. You cannot write like this. These are predefined types. If you see here, can you see input type can be button, checkbox, color, date, date time local, email, file, hidden, image, month, number, password, radio, range, reset, search, submit, tell, text, URL, and week. Can you see that? These are the predefined types. You cannot write anything in a type. Now, how did I open this suggestion? Just control and the space bar. Go to the input type, and inside that there are two quotes. Right? Inside that two quotes, just make control and the space bar. You'll get these suggestions. Only these are valid input types available. Right? Only these are valid input types available. Then if you can see, button is also one of the input type. What is a value? The thing which is getting displayed over here. Can you see add? Even let's have one more section as a result. And here we can say result. And input type, say I will use text now. Placeholder is result. And here we can say value. When you say add value, whatever you write over here, that will appear as a value. Can you see? This is a value. This is not a placeholder text. If I remove this, then there will come placeholder. But this is actually value. Correct? This is actually value we have. Value means what? Whatever you type inside that, that is the value. And you can assign that value from here also. Right? So we have seen input types. So let's write it into the notes. So I will now change it YHTML, and from here we can say page input types. So how many input types are there? Just a minute. Yeah. Now we have a lot of input types available. So HTML provides, here we can say the input element. HTML provides the input element, which is one of the most versatile, commonly used element for creating interactive forms on the web pages. It allows users to input various types of data, and and its common types. So we can say text input. First we can say what? Text input. Then we can say password input. Then we can say number input. Then we can say email input. Then we can say checkbox input, radio button input, then file input, input type file, then date and time inputs, date and time inputs, search input, input type search, and there are many, I just have given few, okay, and input type color. So text input, password input, number input, email input, checkbox, radio file, date time, search, and color. Okay, and we can add a code also. For the text, this would be the code, or instead of writing it here, we can do in the code. Input types, new file, input types.html, okay, HTML5. So let's have main over here, or we can have header, and see h1 input types. I will write few, and this is a homework for you. You might want to try many more. Okay, so section, or instead of section, that is okay, you can use a div. Div is also another tag. Page division. If you want to divide the HTML page, if you want to divide HTML page into different rows, we use what? Div. That is a page division, and slang word is div. People say div. So here we can say label, and here we can say password, right? Password. So let's copy this div, and you need to complete this by tomorrow, like this. Checkbox, input type, checkbox. Just remove this name property. What is the significance of name property? You will get to know a little bit later on. For the checkbox, even we don't require the placeholder checkbox, right? And I will show you one more, a date, input type date, and here we can say placeholder, and here we can say dob, input types.html. Here we can say day 5, and this input types.html. Can you see password, checkbox, and here date, password, checkbox, and the date. So it's a homework. I will write it into this homework. Complete add all other input types. Add all other input types. Correct? That is the homework. I will add it into the homework section as well. Homework day 5, and here you can say add add or create HTML page with all input types. This is the homework. Okay. Okay. Then we have seen something called as div. Let us try to understand the div. Simple calculator, input types. Then we can say new file divs.html. So div element. So let's have this. I will remove these two and div element. Div is nothing but what? Our input page divisions. I will remove this because presently you don't know what do you mean by that, right? Now div element let's go to the web development, HTML5 HTML, input types, create new page, and here we can say div. What is div? The div element, a short form for division or page division, is a fundamental container in HTML used to group and organize other HTML elements. See, if you want to do or if you want to group and organize HTML elements inside HTML elements for styling and the layouting purpose, right? The correct element is a div. Means if you want to do something like this, a layouting, you want to create a layout, some fancy layout in your HTML page, you need to use a div over there, right? Now it doesn't have any specific semantic meaning. See, it doesn't have any specific semantic meaning on its own, but it is widely used to create the structural divisions within the web page. So we have seen earlier to the semantic elements, everything has been used by means of div, right? Now key points about div element. So here we can say key points about div element. Here are few key pointers about div element. First, it's a container. Div is what? It's a container. Then it is used for styling. You don't know what do you mean by styling. Tomorrow or on the Monday we'll start the styling. Layout. No inherent meaning. And nesting. Container. The div element serves as, here you can see, the div element serves as a generic container for other content, allowing you to group the related content together, right? Hello? Yeah. Now the primary purpose of the div is to provide the target for applying the CSS styles. You will get to know this thing tomorrow. By assigning a class or ID to the div, you can apply the styling that affect the content elements of the group. Presently, you don't know this thing. What do you mean by styling? Tomorrow or Monday, you'll get to know this thing. Layout. So divs are used for layouting your things. Now, if you see in our page, can you see? We have created div. So main section, main content is divided into the different divs. Can you see that? It is divided into different divs. Divs means what? Divisions. This much is one division. This much is another division. This much is another division. This much is another division, right? No inherent meaning means what? Unlike the semantic tags, div is not having any meaning, right? Nesting, divs can be written inside other divs. One div can have other divs. That is nothing but what the nesting is. That is nothing but what the nesting is. So here we have used the div. Well, one div can be inside another div. Right? Now here we will write, we can say div straight away, no problem. And inside that we can write another div. Div. And inside this we can write another div. Div inside div. Correct? So this is the one important thing about div. Grouping. Important things can be grouped together. Div says that important things can be grouped together. We are going to use div a lot we are going to use divs a lot in our web programming. Okay. So once you understand what is the meaning of styling, it would be better to work with the divs. So how styles are getting applied exactly, and how div will work at that time, you will understand that part. Okay. Now, so we have seen divs, we have seen input types. There are few more elements. Headers, we can say headers. HDRs, headers.html. Now what do you mean by headers? Now here, let's delete all these things for now, which are very important things actually, but presently you don't know the meaning of these things. Headers. And here we can say main, a section semantic tag, and inside that we can have a div, and here we can say h1. So h1, header 1. Then we can say h2, this is header 2, h3, header 3. Then we can have h4, h5. Can you see till h6 there are headers? H6, h5, header 6. Correct? Now let's go here, refresh it, and say I'm just removing this input types.html and giving a path till this day 5 folder. So whatever available in a day 5, I can get list of all those things, right? So this link is same, but instead of giving a path of the HTML, I will give path to the folder. So divs.html. Why? There is nothing in the divs.html. Divs.html, it should show actually body main. What's the problem? hdr.html. Okay, it is a HDR. File name is incorrect. hdr.html. Can you see? h1 to h6. Right? h1 to h6. So we have seen what is the input. We have seen what is the input. We have seen what is headers, right? So let's go here and we can write something about headers. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Just delete it. Page and headers. Okay. So how many header tags we have? H1 to H6. Header tags would be having H1 to H6. So header tags in HTML, often referred as heading tags, are used to define the hierarchical structure of content on the web page. They indicate the importance of the organization of the different sections of the text, allowing browsers and search engines to understand the content hierarchy and aiding in accessibility for the screen readers. So we are going to have a separate session on this, search engines and screen readers. Okay. Header tags range from H1 to H6. H1 being the highest level, H6 being the lowest level. Right? Now, here is a breakdown of header tags. You can say here is the breakdown of header tags. H1, here you can say H1 represents the higher levels of the heading typically used in the main title of the page, and they should generally be only one header per page. Remember that, only one header per page, a general recommendation. H2 represents the subtopic or the section. H2, here you can say H2 represents a secondary heading often used to divide the content into the major sections on or the topics. And H3 to H6, here you can say H3 to H6 represent progressively lower levels of headings suitable for the subsections, subtopics and the finer details of the content, right? This is about headers and this thing. Now there are some key considerations. Now see, I will use over here H2, or here we can say H1. Key considerations. Key considerations. While using header tags, you need to have some key considerations. Number list, semantic structure. See now, use the heading tags to create the semantic outline of the content. This helps users, search engines and accessibility tools to understand the document structure. Now, have you used the Google Docs? Hello? At that time, it automatically creates the index. Automatically it creates what? Index or the table of content. How? It is scanning your header tags. So top heading would be H1, then inside that subheading would be H2, and inside the subheading there would be H3s. That's what they are saying over here. Semantic structure. You need to maintain this semantic structure properly. while using the headers, right? Hierarchy, you need to maintain the hierarchy. You need to maintain proper hierarchy. Now, what is the proper hierarchy? Maintain the logical hierarchy. Maintain the logical hierarchy. That's what I just said. Google Docs. Maintain the logical hierarchy of the headings. Start with the H1 for the main title and use the lower levels for headings and the subsections. Hello?
Yes.
Then,
Hello?
yeah, any question?
No.
Okay. Then avoid skipping. Don't skip the headers. Means don't jump from H2 to H4 directly. Avoid skipping the heading levels, jumping from H2 to H4. Each level represents the distinct level of importance, right? Visual styling. Then accessibility. You need to know accessibility. So you might have used the screen reader app for the specially abled people, right? Sometimes your mobile automatically reads important sections of the page. Getting my point? So if you have a mobile phone in your hand and if you have enabled the screen reader, you can do immediately right now also. If you have a mobile Android, there is an accessibility option and you can enable the screen reader. So screen reader, whenever you land on this page, automatically starts reading the main headings. That is the use of H1 tags. Hello?
Yes.
You got it? What I mean to say? Okay, visual styling. While heading tags comes with the default styling that renders the text larger, bold, we can customize the styling. Now, what is the meaning of this? Can you see? There is a little margin around this head, right? We can add our styling also. That's the meaning of this pointer. Visual styling. Header tag is having default styling. Okay. Use a heading. Now see, you can use a heading to improve the accessibility by the screen readers with the clear structure of the content. So whenever you define the page structure, this thing, a good HTML page would be having a consideration of accessibility, right? Then the SEO. Do you know what is SEO? Search engine optimization. So when you go to the Google and you can say that best apartments near me, right? You go to the Google, or you can say best restaurants near me. At that time also Google searches for the H1 tags. So this is the importance of using the H1 tags. So if you are doing SEO, if your page is SEO specific, search engine optimized page, you need to maintain a proper hierarchy of the H1 tags. That are nothing but the key considerations while using the H1 tags. Hello?
Yes.
Is it clear? Okay, so we have seen the demo also, we have maintained the notes also. So next tag, we can see page, and I would like to show you lists. Now, how do you define the lists? First, go here, new, lists.html. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. So lists. Let me delete these two things. Let's add main. Just see how I'm typing. I'm typing MAIN and hitting. I'm not typing full tag. I'm just typing M and hit the enter. Automatically there would be the completion. And same thing you need to use in your while you type the code. Okay, now see main tag. Now there is a section. Now see, don't type the tag in this way. Right click, sorry, left angle bracket, then section. Don't do this thing. SEC section, select the tag, hit the enter. Okay, and here we can have here we can have H2. Now we know the importance of this thing. So here we can use one H1, and here we can say lists. See how I have used the H1. First one H1, inside that there H2s, and then we can say ordered list. What do you mean by ordered list now? So here I can add div. Can you see? Here I can add what? Div. And then we can say OL, ordered list. And inside that list item, here we can say ABC, PQR, LMN, XYZ, TUV, XYZ, and what? TUV. Now again go to our page, day 5, remove this HTML, and can you see here lists.html? Can you see what do you mean by ordered list? Ordering is coming over here, right? 1 2 3 4 ordered. There is an unordered list also. So let me copy this whole section. So for you I will not copy, I will just type it section. Inside this section there is the H2, unordered list. Inside that there is a div. Well, you can define this structure in any way. UL, and same LIs I will copy. And now see, you will get a difference. Can you see unordered list? This is the ordered list. There is a numbering, there is a no numbering. There is a numbering and there is a no numbering. Correct? Any question?
No. So I just do the code.
I'm pushing the code. You are asking me to push the code, right? I will push the code. Or do you have any other question?
I only see the code.
Yeah, I'm going to push the code. Don't worry, and you can type it. Okay. Ordered list, unordered list. Okay. Now, if you see ordered list, I would like to show you a few more things about ordered list. See here, ordered list, and there is one attribute called as type. Can you see type? 1AI, it is a number, or how? If you say A, see now, can you see it will start with A, B, C, D, E, correct? If I change the type as small a, everything would be small a, B, C. That is what the type attribute is, correct? Then there is a one more, I can say type is 1, and there is one more attribute start, say 10, okay, and refresh it. Can you see 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right? Then there is something called as reversed, refresh it. Can you see 10, 9, 8, 7, 6? Can you see that? What do you mean by reversed? Ordered list can be reversed. Another thing. Okay. Well, there is a one more attribute called as value. So presently, say So while showing, we will use ABC. While showing, we will use ABC. Now just see 10, 9, 8, 1. 10, 9, 8, 1. Well, there is a value attribute also. We will see later on. Okay, actually, presently you don't require that. But in the ordered list, these things can happen. In the ordered list, these many things are possible. So let's note it down. Let's note it down. Let's list in the HTML tag. See here. List tags in the HTML are used to create the list of items, allowing you to organize and present information in the structured manner. Right? HTML provide two main types of list: unordered lists and unordered lists. Right? And each would be having li as a list element. Each would be having what? Li as a list element. Here is an explanation for the list tags. First, ordered list. First, we can say what? Ordered list. Now, what is ordered list? An ordered list is a numbered list. We have seen this, right? An ordered list is a numbered list. So, unordered list, unordered list, we can say unordered list, UL. Unordered list, what? UL. An unordered list is a bullet point. Here order doesn't matter. That's why it is nothing but what? Unordered. Then list item. Hello? List item, li. List item and what? Li. The list item element is used to define the individual items. We have seen this is li, right? Now there are few attributes also. Attributes. So list items would be having few attributes and their purposes. First, type attribute. We have seen this, right? Type attribute, start attribute, reversed attribute. We have seen what is a reversed, and the value we will see shortly. Value attribute. Type, this, type, reversed, value. Okay, here also there are some key considerations. H1, key considerations. So use OL when order matters. OL means what? Ordering. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Use OL when the order of the item matters, and use UL when order doesn't important. Use li within the within the OL and the UL tag. Okay. So nesting of the list can help to create more organized structure and the content. We'll see this. right? And we can apply the CSS to change the appearance and other thing. This we will see on the Monday. So here is the documentation. You may go through it, and I'm pushing the code. HTML5 few elements. We are going to see more elements. So first we will start the CSS, and along with the CSS we will see the HTML, which will be more fun. Okay, so I have pushed the code. Now what you will do, today you may practice this. Okay, today you may practice this, and if you get any queries and the questions, you can ask me on the Monday. Okay?
Tomorrow is Friday.
No, tomorrow is a Saturday, right? Saturday, right? Tomorrow. So we would be having a session from Monday to Friday only. Yeah.
Sir, I can't see HTML notes.
HTML notes you can't see?
No.
So this link, can you share your screen and let me know what's happening exactly?
Okay.
So this is publicly available. This link is publicly available. Again, I will paste the link in chat box.
Okay.
Just try to open this link. I'm stopping the recording as well.
Okay.
We'll meet on the next session, Monday. Thank you.
Okay.